Hello, welcome to 1 Minute History, where I read from my book that I wrote for homeschoolers, A Bible Believer Looks at World History. You can find it on lulu.com, Amazon, or the Bible Baptist Bookstore. I'm going to talk about fossil fuels today briefly and just some variant views of where they come from. I believe that they are the remains of the massive biomass that existed before the flood, compressed under pressure caused by the flood. But I want to point out some things that I read. Um, it's an interesting concerning so-called fossil fuels. There are two main theories as to the origins of the products which run our cars and provide us with so many other essential products for modern civilization. One is that they come from decayed plant and animal life, and the other is that they were present at the formation of the earth and did not have an origin in living matter. In the first theory, the organic molecules left by these decaying organisms form something called kerogens, which are transformed into hydrocarbons, petroleum, by a process called catagenesis. How fast does this process occur? This can be done very fast in a process called pyrolysis with high heat in the absence of oxygen. The Petroleum Institute of Victoria, New Zealand, has dated some petroleum deposits in the Gulf of Mexico at 6 to 7,000 years, according to one source I read, and it may not be correct. I just pointed that out to you. I've not been able to verify that claim. However, I'd like to point out this article from the World Net Daily on May 25th, 2004, that was sustainable oil with a question mark. It was written by Chris Bennett, and it's a statement that the possibility is that oil is created naturally through processes, not originating in organic material. And the question asked is, could this be true? In August 2002, in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, this Dr. Kenny published that was the source of this, wrote a paper which he called "The Genesis of Hydrocarbons and the Origin of Petroleum." And Dr. Kenny and three Russian co-authors conclude that hydrocarbons didn't originate. It says the hydrocarbon system does not spontaneously evolve hydrocarbons at pressures less than 30 kbar, even in the most favorable environment. The HC system evolves hydrocarbons under pressures found in the mantle of the earth and at temperatures consistent with that environment. He was quoted as stating that competent physicists, chemists, and chemical engineers and men of knowledge of thermodynamics have known that natural petroleum does not evolve from biological materials since the last quarter of the 19th century. So, deeply entrenched in our culture is the belief that at some point in the relatively near future, we will see the last working pump on the last functioning oil well screech and rattle, and that will be the end of the age of oil. And unless we find another source of cheap energy, the world will rapidly become a much darker, dangerous place. If Dr. Gold, these people and Dr. Kenny who talk about fossil fuels like that are correct, the end of the world as we know it scenario simply won't happen. It'll just keep pumping oil. Of course, we're trying to get away from that with this Green New Deal. We'll see what happens. Think about it. While not exhaustible, deep earth reserves of inorganic crude oil and commercially feasible extraction would provide the world with generations of low-cost fuel. Dr. Gold has been quoted saying that the current worldwide reserves of crude oil will be off by a factor of over 100. So, I personally believe that they are the biological origins of hydrocarbons. But it was interesting that there are people who believe that they're naturally occurring without biological origins. So we'll talk about the origin of the gods and as far as Satan, how he impacts this, the beginning of the world history next. And you have a great day.